digital nomads, what you know about it. Full disclosure, I am actually technically a digital nomad, so therefore anything that I say that is disparaging towards the whole group, it's kind of being disparaging towards me. So I could be stereotyping myself, even though I don't fit the stereotype. But what defines a digital nomad? Well, you're probably going to be a digital nomad, let's face it. At the time of recording this video, well, you can't go into work, can you? So you are remote working, and you could become one too. You know, mac it up across the world and drink macchiatos with vegan-friendly almond milk. Typically, a digital nomad would be someone that works in coding, web design, has an Amazon FBA shop, or a drop shipping business. These kind of people, you find them in Chiang Mai in Thailand, you find them in Vietnam and in Bali and some other countries. And typically a digital nomad would be someone that, you know, does like to eat vegan pizzas and would be someone that you find whacked out on their mind on ayahuasca on a beach, trying to have visions of where Neocoin is going to go. Is it up, is it down? When's the breakout coming? Weird thing about digital nomads is that they, you know, live this nomadic lifestyle. And the best thing about working remotely is that you can work from home. You know, when I started working from home, it was a dream. But digital nomads can't really let go of that social conditioning that society is programmed into their brain, that they have to go to an office. So that's why a digital nomad, whichever city or town they rock up into, the first thing they have to do is find a co-working space so they can get up at 7 in the morning to travel to work with all the other schlubs. I got no problem with digital nomads per se. Yes, they are a bit of a meme, there is a stereotype surrounding them. But you know, all travelling folk have some sort of thing going about them, don't they? Oh, there is one lady who seems to have a bit of a problem with digital nomads. Even though she technically is a digital nomad herself because she's a travel blogger. I mean, that is quite a digital and nomadic career, when you say. This lady is Gina Truman. That's Gina with 2 E's, not an I. There's a crazy spelling of Gina. You know, it's the sort of spelling of Gina you do when you were 6. Gina. Yeah, Gina Truman, who writes for Lonely Planet. Oh, well, of course, you know, the pinnacle of travel blogging, isn't it? Lonely Planet, isn't it the greatest? Anyway, she's written a hit piece because that's what you do. Opinion: why I believe digital nomads are ruining travel. That's right, she's a traveller, not a gypsy. She's not out there stealing manhole covers and tarmacking your driveway. She's a traveller, a backpacker. I've canoed into the depths of the Colombian Amazon, trekked through the dense jungles of Sumatra, and experienced the thrill of riding a tuk-tuk through the death-defying streets of India. Well, you already know what you're getting with this kind of content, don't you? You know, these kind of people, this is what I say about the deep diving fucking travel vloggers and the bloggers. You know, they're the ones who think the real experience. Oh, show me where the real Thailand is, please. Oh, it's this dump over here. Oh, this marvelous. You know, trekking into the jungle. They think they're so worldly. Oh, well, I went into the Amazon jungle and I saw tribes and snakes. What do you know about life? Well, have you actually lived your life like a proper life? You know, have you got bills and shit, kids? Do you know what I mean? It's all very well trekking into the Amazon jungle, yeah, but I guarantee if you try to buy a 10 bag of weed on Brixton High Street, you get mugged, alright? So you're not that worldly, are you? I can sniff the harem pants from here. But returning to Bali may have been the most harrowing experience in my life. And she's been to the jungle. During my first trip in 2015, I'm pretty sure Bali was ruined before 2015 from all accounts that I've heard. I was enthralled by the carefully crafted Kanang sari decorating the streets and rich cultural traditions. Yeah, these beige people, just because they grew up in some suburb, you know, mummy and daddy forced them to play tennis on a Sunday. You know, the most exotic thing they ever had was a falafel. And she rocks up in Bali and her fucking mind's blown to pieces. Like, oh my God, it's so ethnic and bright. But when I returned in 2020, Bali was a different island entirely. Now let me just see, do you like this cup? Classy or lavender? Gone were the warungs, or warungs, I don't know, serving babigolin and ayam lawer. Well, it sounds very exotic and exciting, doesn't it? Instead, trendy Instagram cafes serving smoothie bowls and eggs Benedict line the streets. What's an Instagram cafe? Have you ever been to an Instagram cafe? What's that all about? Is it all the staff who've got disproportionately large asses and tits, you know, with lots of lip filler? Is that what an Instagram cafe? You know, is there some 15-year-old pranking his nan? You know, is someone doing some sort of Lele Pond sketch in the corner of the room? What's an Instagram cafe? You nut job, anyway. Temples that once held worshippers were now dramatic backdrops for TikTok content creators. Meandering down a street filled with co-working spaces and yoga studios, I realized I could be in any city in the world. That's right. I went to Leeds and I was surprised. There were so many co-working spaces and yoga studios. It just shocked me. I walked up to a Yorkshireman. I said, "Hey, I want to see the real Leeds, okay? I'm a traveller. I want to see the real Leeds. Where's the real Leeds at?" And he put me in a van and he took me down to some council estate, and you know, everything was made of bins and there's fires everywhere. And I got stabbed 3 times. And I was like, the real Leeds fucking sucks. The world is rapidly changing. Technology and globalization. Ooh, globalization. Ooh. I guarantee this is an open borders, you know, Remainer type person. Guaranteed. Technology and globalization have spurred massive development in countries all around the globe. In destinations such as Tulum and Bali, this development has come at a cost, the cheapening of entire cultures. They have slowly transformed from cultural epicenters brimming with local food options, cultural experiences and guest house bungalows to watered down versions of what they once were, all in the name of catering to the needs of digital nomads. I don't think it's all catering to the needs of digital nomads. And let's make something clear. Yes, they do like their co-working spaces, their yoga studios, their silly vegan restaurants, and their overpriced cafes, you know. They do like all this silly stuff. And to be fair, they do rock up across the world kind of clueless about where they're at. But you can't blame it all on them. Think about Chiang Mai. There's like 30,000 digital nomads there from what I heard about it. Half the ecosystem of Chiang Mai wouldn't exist. You're talking about rapid growth financially, all right? Without them, you wouldn't have a lot of the shit. Do you know what I mean? And there are lots of digital nomads. Millions worldwide. Gosh, she's shocked, isn't she? She's like, I came to this city in 2015 and it was a dump it was a beautiful dump filled with rats and begging children. And I returned and it was clean with nice things. What a disgrace. As Instagram influencing hit its peak, travel was easier than ever. I just don't think of Instagram influencers as digital nomads. I just think of them as, you know, twats. There's a big difference between a Bitcoin bro and, you know, someone who just does, you know, squats. You know, the girls with great asses who just do squats. That's all they do. This is my squatting profile, you know. I'm a squat model. I just squat. So 14-year-olds can beat their meat. More work became available online, leading to a digital nomad boom. That's right. Entrepreneurs flocked into the serene beaches of Bali, Mexico and Thailand to create their new home away from home, and ended up changing the fabric of entire communities. That's right. They turned up like colonizers, like the colonial troops, like the Belgians when they arrived in the Central African Republic. Do you know what I mean? They just rocked up. Like King Leopold was up in this bitch. He had 10 children and shot a bullet for all of them. You know, and said, we're shooting your sons and taking your daughters. That's exactly what happened. Why? Well, they need to work in my co-working space and they need to make almond lattes. Let me be clear, I don't hate the digital nomad movement. Well, that's why you're writing a hit piece on them, I suppose. It's not out of hatred, it's out of love. I work online and travel full time. But as the trend of digital nomadism has grown through social media, the brand of traveller taking that leap has changed. When destinations start catering to these new digital nomads, countries slowly begin to lose their cultural identities. Again, it's a bit of a weird one, isn't it? when you get people talking about losing cultural identities, right? It's like for other countries, you know, when you go to bin countries, you know, you go to Burma and everyone's not in a good way and they're like, oh, I don't want you to lose your cultural identity. You know, you get Johnny Angry, right, from Wigan, and he's like, now look here, lad, love, I just don't want the fabric of my culture changing with all these fucking immigrants. And then you go, oh, Johnny Angry, you're a piece of shit. Fuck you, Johnny Angry. Oh, you hate the immigrants. The changing of culture is great. It's good. But, you know, but it's not right for other countries, is it? Like, do you know what I mean? Well, what's wrong with these people? It's like, yeah, you're flip-flopping. And with the estimates from DNX back in 2015, I was about to say, 2015, projecting 1 billion digital nomads by 2035. 1 billion, how are you going to build enough workspaces for 1 billion digital nomads? How many yoga studios are you going to have to build? How many vegan restaurants are they actually going to, why am I talking why am I talking like that? How many vegan restaurants are they going to have to build by 2035? Like, you're wondering about a good business opportunity. Well, there's going to be 1 billion digital nomads, so you need to open up a co-working space that serves silly lattes, an ayahuasca rum, you know, a Bitcoin fucking cash machine. What else? With a yoga studio and shit, you know? You just build that. Anyway, global homogenization could get a whole lot worse. Global homogenization? Who's this woman? Nigel Farage? You might travel to the other side of the planet only to find that it looks much like the city you left back home. It's been like that for a long time, you know what I mean? You rock up in any country and it's like, McDonald's. What is the allure of travel? As Anthony Bourdain once wisely noted, I'm going outside, I might be a long time, I can't remember. Travel is about the gorgeous feeling of teetering into the unknown, widening our perspectives, diving headfirst into the unfamiliar and stepping outside our comfort zones. That's what brought many of us to remote work in the first place. Those of us who are passionate about travel live for that feeling of exploration. We seek out unfamiliar experiences to learn about the cultures and traditions of the world. But what happens when the entire world starts feeling a little too familiar? Well, it feels a little too familiar anyway, because it's like there's idiots here, there's idiots there, there's knob jockeys out. There's just idiots everywhere, isn't there? You know, brainwashed idiots. Just all walking around. They're just looking at the TV going, tell me what to do. You know, everything's pretty familiar anyway. The problem, okay. Digital nomads aren't traveling in the true sense of the word. It's not the true sense of travel. I mean, the word means travel, is travel. Where are you travelling to? Well, I'm going to Benidorm. Well, that's not travel, is it? No. I'm travelling to work. Well, it's not proper travel. Are you going to assimilate? Are you on your journey to work? Are you assimilating and breathing in other cultures? Are you on your commute? Often they find a country that fits their needs and live there for several months at a time. Duh! That's the fucking point. What's your problem? You can either live in the UK, right, and just live like a complete fucking schlub, you know? It's just in a stinking pile of misery, okay? Getting up in the morning and just being crammed into a fucking bus to go work for some arse plant, you know? Like, and what, you know, I'm paying rent that could buy you a slave in another country. So, like, why not? Why not fuck off and just live it up? I do. They want strong Wi-Fi, cheap, comfortable, long-term lodging, co-working cafes, Instagrammable food. Instagrammable food? No, I just want tasty food. I just want food that doesn't kill me. And a community of like-minded individuals to share their experiences with. Now, this is a problem. You do get communities around here. Right now, I live near a community like that, where it's pretty much like there's 1,700 burger restaurants and vegan places, you know. That's kind of all there is. These people are very easy to please is the word, you know. And I get it. There's a lot of wankers around. There's people with silly shorts on, you know what I mean, carrying their laptops around, sitting at the cafe going, oh, what time's the co-working space, you know? What time's it open? I'm going to go do some yoga. I'm going to sit on the beach and talk shit. Yeah, I get it. And there's nothing inherently wrong with that. You know, she keeps trying to like say, you know, I'm not bashing people, but you're pieces of shit. But it's changing the landscape of the world for typical travellers. You see, this is like, oh, I'm a real traveller, I'm a typical traveller. I'm that asshole that comes back after a year and goes, oh, well, you don't really know anything about life unless you're cuddling an elephant in the Ganges. You know, so I'm like, oh, have you ever had ringworm? No? Oh, you haven't really lived, have you? Have you ever been sexually assaulted by an Indonesian on a bus? Oh, you haven't lived, have you? Authentic local dishes are harder to come by. Locals open vegan restaurants knowing it'll sell better than the succulent slices of babi guling. Oh, roast pig. I don't think locals open up a vegan restaurant. They'll like, just go where the locals eat, innit? There's no locals eating at the fucking vegan restaurant. These people aren't stupid. That the Balinese perfected over hundreds of years. Guest houses close their doors as trendy Instagrammable Airbnbs backed by foreign investors thrive, blowing this out of proportion. Coffee co-working spaces pop up on every corner, drawing in more and more of the digital nomad crowd, while slowly pricing locals out of their communities. Are you saying this is gentrification? They'll still have their little bin restaurant around the corner. Airbnb has been blamed globally for a dramatic rise in rent prices, driving locals to the outskirts of cities. To be honest, people are better out the cities, aren't they? Like, you're better off out of the city anyway. But digital nomads thrive on Airbnb's comfortable weekly and monthly accommodation options and are willing to pay the heftier price tag. Look, I've stayed in an Airbnb place many times, okay? Your average local ain't staying in these places anyway. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't built for them. And foreign operated hostels catering to young digital nomads looking to network are no better. Who wants to live in a fucking hostel anyway? That's for you. That's for people like you. She's just moaning because she used to go to the hostel and it'd be full of la-di-da motherfuckers like her going, oh, I went and saw the real Bali this morning. I had some weird fruit and shat my pants. Oh, so did I. She's just pissed off because now she's sitting in a hostel, you know, all la-di-da right up. You know, she's got a fucking henna tattoo on her face. You know, she's probably borrowed a local monkey, you know, sitting on her shoulder going, look at me, my monkey, ah! And some Bitcoin bro then smashed out his face, just going, I'm just waiting for Ethereum to hit $1,700. You know what I mean? Like, see what I mean? They're all talking about, they're talking about, you know, stuff that she doesn't understand. She's going, no, can we not talk la-di-da weird stuff? Going, I had a wonderful experience with a street child. And they're going, yeah, well, Bitcoin's hit 45 grand. I just don't understand you people. Over-tourism has been labelled the destination killer of the 21st century, and while still a major contributor, I think an influx of digital nomads may be an early sign of the destination's cultural demise. Yeah, you think that this woman thinks immigration and globalization is a bad thing. The solution, she's come up with a solution, a final solution, probably. Live immersively as a digital nomad. Support local businesses, cultural practices, and traditions just as you would back home. That is a good point. Yeah, you should, you know, and it's cheaper to eat like local food. To be honest though, it depends on where you're at, because some countries have really dud food. It has to be said. Like, Vietnam food is pretty dud. A lot of it's very dud. It's not like Thailand where it's like, woo, zing, zing, zing. It's more like, it's like, you know, it's like the food of the north, you know, the north of the UK, do you know what I mean? It's just like, what's this? It's grey stew. Have you never eaten grey stew? You know what I mean? And here's a slice of grey bread to go with your fucking grey stew. You're like, oh. So you should buy local and shit, you know what I mean? But at the same time, you know, 7-Elevens and Family Mart and shit, they're fucking cheap. They're so well priced. Consider the lifestyle of locals and the cuisine of a destination before you relocate there. Hell yeah, that's a good point. If you ain't gonna, because you do get these wankers that go, oh, have you been to the vegan restaurant? Oh, but they won't eat any street food because they're afraid of it. It's like, bruv, you're already missing out and it's so cheap. Like, what is your problem? That is a problem with some of these motherfuckers. It is true. Oh, bro, I'm gonna go to the workspace and eat this fucking expensive burger. Oh, have you tried it? There's a great fettuccine place. It's all made out of grass. Too often, digital nomads default to creating a bubble of comfortability around themselves, befriending other digital nomads and bouncing from their hostel to the co-working place and bypassing the unfamiliar along the way. Why the fuck would you be a digital nomad and live in a fucking hostel? Jesus Christ. Why would you do that to yourself? You know, when I lived in a hostel, when I was poor, for most the main allure behind, I don't want to be poor, for most the main allure behind going remote in the first place was the ability to travel the world. But if you don't travel immersively and step outside, I hate these people that travel immersively. They don't travel immersively. I don't want anyone coming to the UK and be having to immerse themselves. I don't want to take them down the Myattsfield estate. It's like, go on, immerse yourself here. Do you know what I mean? I'm not going to take them to, Moss Side. This is Moss Side. Look at it, it's fucking great. Take them to the valleys in Wales where everyone's destitute and on heroin. Go and immerse yourself. This is what the locals do. What's that? They set fire to bins and throw rocks at tourists. But if you don't travel immersively outside your comfort zone, are you doing much travel at all? Do you know what I mean? Oh, you're not doing real travel, are you? Yeah? Have you ever banged a local? I've banged many locals. You ever banged a local, bitch? We're slowly killing the very thing that inspired us to travel in the first place. Unfamiliarity, exploration, curiosity. That's exactly why we used to go on holiday to the south of Spain. Was these words: unfamiliarity, exploration, curiosity. That's why you go on holiday. As digital nomads, we have a huge. Now she's actually, she's gone from sort of being like, they're digital nomads. Now she's like, I'm a digital nomad, by the way. As digital nomads, she's thrown herself in with them. We have a huge responsibility laid on our shoulders. That's right. You're going to solve world poverty and racism. I'm all for more people working remotely, but now more than ever, we should be conscious of our impact on the places we live. That's right. You can't have people coming here and building churches and shit. Do you know what I mean? Did you imagine a whole area of the UK being taken over by one culture and who don't speak the local language and don't eat the local food and don't do that? Oh, it gets spicy when you think about it, doesn't it? Because it's not just the environment we stand to lose, it's the diversity of our planet. Do you know what? Some diversity can fuck off, as far as I'm concerned. There's some cultural practices that are dud by anyone's standards. You get these people going, oh, don't judge another person's culture, you don't understand. It's like, look, I don't like eating monkeys, I don't like pimping out children. Do you know what I mean? I don't like seeing a 10-year-old blowing fire for money. Do you know what I mean? These are the kind of things, the way they build roads, the driving when it's terrible, all these kind of things. Oh, in our culture, we marry off our children at 5. It's like, well, fuck your culture then, isn't it? You know what I mean? Like, come on, let's not be dickheads about this whole situation. Oh, I love the culture. It's dud sometimes. Because it's not just the environment anyway. It's the very thing that made us so passionate about travel in the first place. Digital nomads have to be kind of travellers they want to see in the world. Adventurous, enthusiastic, curious and open-minded. I bet this woman's not that open-minded at all. I think she's open-minded enough to go on 4chan. Because with our ever-growing population, locals will continue to cater to what we want. And that could just ruin travel for everyone else. Oh, do you think these people are travelling? Do you think people in other countries want to travel the way you travel? Do you know what I mean? Probably not. Learn how to live and work on the road with Lonely Planet's practical guide design. Oh, that's the end of it. Well, this could be like an episode of He-Man where I sort of lay out the moral of the story and go, but I'm not going to do that. This has just been for the jokes, hasn't it? Really. Someone's always got to have an opinion or two, don't they? Like, the real travellers. Oh, show me the real. I want to see the real country of travellers. I've been to places where apparently the real travellers are, and they ain't spending no money. This is the problem with the real travellers. They ain't spending no money. I remember being on PP Island, me and two of my friends were backing it up. We were spunking money everywhere. Like, people loved this. We got treated different to the traveller folk that were staying in hostels. Do you know why? Because they'd sit around playing cards, drinking water all day. How are you contributing? Do you know what I mean? Johnny Sex Pest, who turns up from Bradford on his sex tourism jaunt, and goes and bangs a hoe every night. He bangs 10 hoes in a week, you know what I mean? He is contributing more to the economy than your sorry traveller hours going, I just want to hang out in a little hut with the poor people. Do you know what I'm saying? People are staying at fancy hotels, spunking money everywhere. Guess what? They're more welcome than you are because they're contributing to the economy. Maybe you should think before you speak sometimes, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, digital nomads are proper whack, man. I mean, God, have you ever been to a vegan restaurant or a co-working space? It's terrible. I would definitely rather go to a cockfight. Peace.